Hi, my name is Mark Sheppard. I'm Senior Learning Specialist with MindMuse. Shift was introduced to us in March of 2009 as a possible new venue for us to help change the way in which we did custom e-learning development. The biggest problem that exists with custom e-learning development is the time it takes to get from concept to production. By using Shift, we were able to shorten that time by just an amazing factor, which helps us to respond better to our clients. But we're also in a position to take advantage of extra time for making changes and adjustments to the tool, which we can do on the fly. The learning curve with a lot of traditional tools tends to be fairly steep, and support tends to vary from application to application. What I found with Shift was that it was very easy for me to produce content because I'm really focusing on only a couple of core skills to be able to produce content, and that is really adding text to the various templates, adding images, and then determining different levels of interactivity. With those skills mastered, I can produce any kind of level of interactivity from the tool itself without having to become an expert. And we've had proven success with getting people with very low tools proficiency to be able to produce rich and engaging interactive content in a very short period of time. The biggest difference with traditional authoring tools compared to Shift is that these traditional tools sit on the desktop and there's an individual license that is associated with them. So they're always either shackled to a user or they're shackled to a particular machine. That also means that storage of your working files is local. And again, the learning curve for these applications tends to be fairly steep. But with Shift, with a centralized environment, I can be anywhere as long as I have access to the platform to produce content. I have the ability to collaborate with other users, which is very, very difficult to do in traditional authoring settings because you wind up having to share large files back and forth, and it's very asynchronous. With Shift, I can now be working with people concurrently in a course or in a unit of the course, and we can be working together to produce that learning output. The biggest productivity gain is the speed of development from concept to production, because you're able to focus on putting your content in and you're not worrying about having to develop custom navigation interfaces or controlling how the user interacts with the learning content on a screen-by-screen basis. I'm able to simply worry about getting the content in, drawing the appropriate templates, and building the content. The other productivity gain that people tend to underestimate is what happens when you've got your content ready to go and you need to have stakeholder review. That tends to be, in traditional settings, a very manual process. Getting people together in meetings, writing down commentary, getting it in different sources. But none of that is in context, and it's very time consuming for the organization. And invariably, you can be in a scenario where you can produce a beta version of your course. Nobody has seen what it looks like, and then as soon as it gets to the audience, you have a very different reaction than what you expected. Whereas with Shift, you start working from what looks like a finished copy right away. You get your stakeholders involved. You can send out and aggregate their review commentary. It's tracked in the system. You have all that in place. So you get a high level of accountability, but that also means that you can get your stuff done faster because you've got your stakeholders involved and engaged in the process, literally from start to finish. We've also done it remotely, where we've had virtual conferences with some of our clients, and again, they've been able to either be logged into the Shift platform to see the course evolve asynchronously, or they've been working with us live to help manage and resequence content, look at different presentation methods, and as well as assessment methods. And that again is a new thing for a lot of people because they're not used to being that involved in the design process, but now they feel that they have a significantly higher level of control in terms of what their end product is going to be. I think it's a benefit for for instructional designers because you've got that client engagement almost from the very start. They're able to be involved with the process. They can see things happening. They have a level of confidence that what you're building for them is going to reflect what their expectations are. From the client side, again, they get to see what's happening. They don't have to wait until, let's say a beta version has been produced to see what a finished product is going to look like. They're able to get that involvement again almost from the inception of the project. I think Shift and the concept of rapid e-learning development is very valuable for anyone who is in an education role, because this is really the next wave of learning and providing learner support. You're in a position with tools like this to be able to meet learner demands very, very quickly. In some cases, you could conceivably be doing this on the fly. For example, somebody who's working in higher education who is building online and interactive resources to support a class, well, they could conceivably be making changes to those resources based on an in-class discussion, and they could be doing that right as the learners are talking about it. And that kind of responsiveness is huge for a generation of learners that is used to on-demand and at their fingertips resources. For instructional designers, it's equally important because you're able to shorten the time it takes for you to get content produced for your customers. And more importantly, the smaller pieces of learning that organizations traditionally don't tend to touch because the cost involved to get them produced is too high, well, you can now add that to the to an organization's knowledge base. It doesn't have to be complex and really busy and splashy to have a huge impact on the organization once you start getting a library built. And that, I think, is the real quantum shift for anybody who is operating in this sector over the next few years.